hands together to welcome Mohammad Tanveer Khan, inviting Shri Shobhit Bhatnagar, Director OP&BD, DFCCIL. He is an officer of 1992 batch of Indian Railway Traffic Service, joined the Indian Railways in 1993 and worked in important key posts of Indian Railways, and was part of the team in Central Railway that developed the prototype of Freight Operation Information System and Indian Railways in 1999 and 2000. Warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Shri Abhinav Singh, Director-Infra Railway Board, Indian Railways, who has been overseeing two pivotal projects, the high-speed railway project and the dedicated freight corridors, alongside managing international cooperation initiatives. And his career reflects extensive experience encompassing operations and maintenance, design and construction within the railway sector. Warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Shri Pratyush Kumar, Senior Manager Construction, Warehousing and Railways in West India. He leads the construction, warehousing and railway sector teams under the infrastructure cluster at Invest India. Prior to joining Invest India, he was the CEO of the real estate development company investing in grain-based ethanol production for Government of India's EBP program. A warm welcome to you, sir. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege in inviting our distinguished moderator, Shri Rahul Gosain, Chief Administrative Officer IT, Indian Railways, who has over 28 years of experience in the railway operations, rolling stock operations and maintenance, project planning and execution, policy and strategy formulation, and has been associated with railway sector for more than 28 years, holding key positions in strategy, policy roles, hands-on O&M services, experience of all types of rolling stock on Indian Railways. Has also held prominent positions in other ministries of Information Technology, MIT, Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, working on policy making in cutting-edge areas such as internet governance, digital payment enablement, and other areas of the IT sector such as cybersecurity and universal acceptance. Those words of introduction, I hand over to our distinguished moderator.
So respected senior officers from the railways, leaders from the industry, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, I welcome you all to this panel discussion on building logistics, digital infrastructure, and automation in the railways. I understand that we have a very distinguished panel of guests here, panelists here, and given the range of issues which are likely to be discussed during the panel, the rich experience, knowledge, and backgrounds that our esteemed panelists bring with them, I'm sure you would all have a lot of queries and questions. Given their constraints of time, I would request you to hold on to those questions till the end. And at that time, we would be able to entertain a few questions and answers. So with this, and without further ado, I would like to go on to begin the panel discussion. And with that, I would briefly like to move on to our first panelist. So in the morning session also, I think all of you must have heard the member infrastructure talk about how the railways has this goal of capturing and moving 3,000 million tons of freight traffic. So the Indian Railways has been focused on achieving this goal, and it's been doing this in a mission mode. So my first request would be to our distinguished panel, Shri Shobhit Bhatnagar ji, to enlighten us about what are the measures that the railways has been taking in order to reach this goal. How does he see the progress in this direction, and what are the steps which are being taken? What role do you feel the industry has to contribute in this, and how do you see us going about it?
Sir, I would say that yes, it's an ambitious target, and definitely railways is on the path. We're targeting about 1,600 million tons now, and of course the major commodities are the traditional ones, the coal, iron, steel, raw material for steel plants. So, but I would say that yes, definitely the commissioning of DFCs is definitely one of the things which has helped in all this. The movement of coal, I mean, till 2 years back, we had been hearing about the shortage of coal reaching the thermal powerhouses. So in that sense, both the DFCs, especially the Eastern DFC, has helped a lot. The the transit time for the coal rigs has reduced to half. So that's where DFC comes in. And of course, the number of trains which are moving on the eastern side. I mean, earlier it used to be the kind of interchange between, with the East Central Railway used to be about 45 trains maximum in a day. Now it's around 75. So it's almost doubled. So that's how the traffic is increasing. And definitely, I mean, we do hope to reach that target.
Thank you, sir, for that information. And we are sure that the DFCCIL is taking great strides in this direction and contributing, given what sir has just shared with us. Now, I would like to just pivot to the Railway Board, and there are two distinguished panelists from the Railway Board over here. I would like to move to Shri Tanveer Khan, who is the Joint Director in the Gati Shakti Directorate in Railway Board, to provide us the insights from Railway Board. What is the thought process going on in the Railway Board regarding IR's focus on this mission to achieve this 3,000 million ton freight loading? What role does he feel that the industry has to play in this, contribute in this mission, and what measures are being taken in this direction? Kindly share with us.
Thank you very much. And our esteemed panelist, Shobhit sir, has given insights on the dedicated freight corridor. And one thing I want to share that previously joining to Railway Board, I was also the part of dedicated freight corridor. And I was there in the section from Khurja to Dadri. And Dadri has become the hub. And in near future, near Bodaki, many establishments are ready to come in multimodal logistic hubs and multimodal logistic transport hubs. So with the coordination with the Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor, DMIC-DC, this freight loading and 3,000 million ton, it will be, what we can say, it is a dream which will come true in very near future. And as far as the Railway Board is concerned, and the Gati Shakti Directorate is concerned, we are at present moving towards multimodal transportation. And in that case, one service which already it is in existence, roll-on and roll-in services, in which we are providing the last mile connectivity and last mile loading and unloading and the reaching of the freight to the last mile is being considered. And it is the main thing which is the last mile connectivity. It is the main focus of Gati Shakti Directorate. When we are planning our projects, we are planning it on the BISAC portal, and integration and holistic approach is being taken, that what all highways and what all railway lines are there, and what are highway and other mode of transport are being coming in near future, so that we can integrate with those projects also, and we can get benefited. Otherwise, if we are planning the things in isolation, we are planning on the same alignment we are planning for the roads, and on the same alignment we are planning for the railway networks. And at the end of day, what we are getting, we are just held up in the conflicts between the two ministries. And by the coming of this PM Gati Shakti program in this Indian Railways, we are planning it in a holistic manner, and what are our dreams that will come true in the very near future.
Thank you for those inspiring words, sir. Your assurances and your words give us great reassurance that our goals and endeavors will be achieved very soon. And thank you for also sharing with us that, the board is undertaking it in all seriousness with integrated and holistic planning, so that we are able to synergize all our actions in a cohesive manner. So with this, I would like to move on to our next participant from Railway Board, Shri Abhinav Singh, who is the Director-Infra at Railway Board. So once again, I would request you to share your views and perspective regarding IR's mission 3,000 million ton freight loading, and what is the thinking going on in your division? What is your perspective, and what role do you foresee for the railway industry at large to contribute to this mission? And what are the areas of synergy which you feel should be leveraged in order to achieve this goal as soon as possible?
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to provide the answer in the two parts, whether there is a demand and whether there is a supply that we can cater those. So in terms of the demand, whether there is a demand, I will provide you the reason why we are going to achieve 3,000 metric ton goal. First one, last month I have read an article from the Economics Times that our export is going to expand by 158% from what we are exporting in 2022 to 2030. So there is a natural demand is there that we have to export. For exporting, there is a requirement of transportation sector. So one of the transportation, we are in the transportation sector. One is the railway, other is the roadways. And waterways is also there, but in India, there is there is no proper connectivity amongst the canals or the rivers. So in terms of the demand, the first demand is going to come from the export sector. Second one is the decarbonization of the transportation sector. So right now, the modal share of Indian Railways is around 27 to 30%, whereas the road is taking around 65% of the modal share. Majorly, the roadways are running on the fossil fuel, whereas we are now near about 97% of our broad gauge network is on electrification, which is much cleaner energy, source of energy. So there is a natural demand that the goods has to be transported on the railway network as compared to the road network. Regarding the supply side, whether Indian Railway can cater those demand or not, I can say that recently we have commissioned 2 freight corridors that sir has provided the details. So we have provided the capacity to run extra number of goods train on our network. Other than that, you can see from the past 2 years, we are adding near about 5,000 kilometers in our network. So there is a dedicated freight corridors, adding additional lines in our network. And supplementary, you can see when we are going to make high-speed network, we are transferring our passenger to that network, and we are also adding a capacity to our existing network to carry more goods train. So overall, I can say that in near future, I think so the target is of 2030. By 2030, I can see that we are going to achieve this target. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abhinav, for sharing that perspective and to share with us also the underlying need why we need to achieve this, the demand and the impact it has on downstream exports as well as on employment opportunities. So thank you for that. Now I would like to move on to Shri Pratyush Kumar, who is Senior Manager in West India, Senior Manager Construction, Warehousing and Railways. So while much has been discussed about the technical aspects and what all has Railways done in terms of enhancing and improving and augmenting its infrastructure for achieving its goal, but I would also like to hear from Pratyush ji regarding his perspective as to how the Invest India team fits into this Railways mission of IR achieving 3,000 million ton loading, and how does this whole goal fit overall in the India perspective? So basically, what is being done by you in this area, and what role do you feel is there for the industry to pitch in to contribute to this important mission? And what are the synergy areas which you see which the railways can leverage? Over to you, Pratyush.
Thank you so much. First of all, thanks to Rail Analysis for giving us this platform. So those of you who don't know us, Invest India is the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency. We are under DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So we are like the interface between the industry and the government. And our prime agenda is to increase manufacturing footprint in India, And of course, we are aligned with various ministries. So I work very closely with Ministry of Railways in this. So I'll directly come to your question regarding what we have done so far. So in the last, the railways team under Invest India or Make in India has been active for last 3 to 4 years. And we have done around 6 round tables, like we call it industry interaction or taking industry feedback. And these interactions have been with multiple sectors. So I'll tell you, like consumer durables, steel, auto, bauxite, aluminium, cement, and e-commerce. These are the major players who we have done an industry interaction with. So I mean, what we feel, like we as Invest India, we see at a 30,000 feet view of the country, and we feel that diversification or the portfolio diversification for the freight is very important. So I think that is part of the National Rail Plan as well, that they want to diversify the portfolio in the sense they want to increase the share of non-traditional freight. And that is where we come in, where the interaction with e-commerce players and auto players. I'll give you a very good example which happened through our intervention. So Toyota doubled its freight rakes, like rakes per month that they were using. This was doubled by Toyota between 21 to 22. And how it happened, during the industry interaction, the feedback was given by the industry on certain lacunas that were there in infrastructure on certain stations, or the rake availability that was not there earlier, which was then provided. So with the development of infra and making the rakes available for them, that is how they doubled their freight share. Also, like we help in policy advocacy, like industry feedback for the policy, where there was a feedback from Amazon regarding removal of certain goods, consumer goods, which have less content of alcohol. So they were removed from the category of dangerous goods, and that is how, like Amazon also increased its freight share. So I believe catering to major other industries, the non-traditional areas, that will really help in increasing the freight share of rail. Because if we have to move from current, say, 27 to 30% to 40, 45% of the total share, so what is being catered to currently by the road needs to be catered in a more cost-effective and speedy manner by the rail as well. So as far as coming down to the role of the industry there, so we have to achieve higher speeds. We have to maintain the rail tracks, because now we are talking about higher passenger speed trains, higher freight trains. So the maintenance, safety, signaling, all these aspects become very important there. So I believe that industry plays a major role there, and I believe there are many organizations which are supporting innovation and technology adaptation into railways. And we are there for any support to industry in that front. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Pratyush ji, for sharing that magic masala recipe with us, and also for sharing the fact, the quintessential glue that kind of synergizes all our actions together and brings the whole organization together to focus on our mission of achieving our goal. So with that, now a lot of talk has been done about freight loading and all the endeavors which we've undertaken to focus our goals in that direction. I would like to slightly pivot to another area which is very important, which is of producing professionals, which are skilled professionals in the transport sector. Moving on to you, Dr. Manoj Choudhary, sir. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you on having been adjudged as the most influential Vice-Chancellor recently, as well as for igniting the magic of railways amongst the youth. Sir, given the fact that the EdTech sector is fast revolutionizing areas of professional education and training, I would request you to share with this audience the role, the vision behind Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, as well as how it has been adapting itself to all these changes and how you have been leveraging all this to bring Gati Shakti into the center focus.
Thank you, firstly, for inviting me here, and the context in which we are operating. I think my co-panelists have already talked, but I have to just summarize. Let us look at the scenario that we are there today. Our country is rapidly progressing. We are aiming and are confident that we will become Viksit Bharat by 2047. And one of the primary reason and focus, therefore, is on infrastructure. If you look at budget, 11.1 lakh crore investment across railways, highways, and all the sectors of infrastructure, a very, very significant push. Secondly, in yesterday's budget, you see 1.48 lakh crore on education skilling. Right? That's another important focus area. When we look at this kind of infrastructure, which is not only for passenger traffic in terms of making accessible, available, affordable travel, and thereby introducing new kind of trains with all kind of safety features, and therefore the focus on security infrastructure, safety infrastructure. On second hand, to make India a logistically efficient country from 14% of our GDP to single-digit number with the kind of multimodal transport and the freight traffic, where we are trying to increase the railways portion from 27% to 47%, and thereby leveraging several of digital infrastructure systems such as ULIP, which is the equivalent of a UPI in the logistics industry. There is a tremendous action that is happening all across us. Recently, there was an announcement of 76,200 crore rupees funding for Vadhavan port. That will be a mega port in India, well supported and connected by dedicated freight corridors and also connected by highways. Therefore, there is a lot more focus on multimodal transportation and logistics efficiency. In the backdrop of all of this, when we are having so much of investment, the question is, okay, we are democracy, development of the people, for the people, by the people. But for such a development, a huge development, we need well-qualified, well-skilled people. And that is where through an act of parliament in 2022, Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya was created as India's only university to focus on entire transportation and logistics sector. So what do we do? There are 1,100 universities already existing in India with 23 IITs, 21 IIMs and so on. We do not want to become just 1,101st university. Our goal is to become India's most unique and best university. And the reason for my confidence is threefold. Firstly, the university's focus areas that I will talk about are also in sync with significant infrastructure spending. That means the kind of graduates we produce will more likely than not have significant employment opportunities in the sector and therefore contribute to national development. Second part, we have kept the university's vision and each of the action to be industry-driven and innovation-led. Every single curriculum that we have introduced is by the industry, for the industry, in sync with the industry, and in many cases delivered by the industry. I'll give you some examples. Along with Railway Ministry and its production units, we have started BTech curriculums focusing on specialization in rail engineering. One of the examples, for example, if there is a BTech in civil engineering, apart from studying courses like building materials, surveying, construction technology, water resources engineering, geotechnical, everything you do in civil engineering in IIT Roorkee or a Delhi or a Bombay, at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, student also does 8 more courses related to rail engineering. For example, railway station design, cargo terminal design, railway track technology, high-speed railway infrastructure systems, railway bridge technology, railway tunnel technology, and same is the case whether in electronics engineering or other. So there is a specialized degree program for rail industry. Not only Indian Railway benefits, but industries that are working in the sector, the likes of L&T, Siemens, ABB, Alstom, DB, everybody benefits by this ecosystem. Second, we know that metro is one of the primary forms of urban transportation. There are 20 cities where metro is existing. There are 50,000 people working in metro. But in India, there is no institute offering any program related to metro rail technology. In partnership with Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, this year onwards, we started an MBA in metro rail management. We already have a huge response. We already started metro rail technology related courses. Similarly, for aviation sector, in partnership with Airbus, we started a BTech in aviation engineering program, which is now very well supported by several players, including DGCA, including Ministry of Civil Aviation, and so on. So, second reason of my confidence was its linkage and focus on industry-driven approach. Third is Ministry of Railways, very strong support. Railways being primary transportation sector with significant modernization happening with the almost 15 kilometer kind of a day, new track happening with focus on green hydrogen based technology. The first train that is going to be introduced this year will focus on Vande Bharat trains with upgradation of our non-AC bogies to the Vande Bharat standard levels, with focus on dedicated freight corridors, introduction to new wagons, new locomotive plants, significant opportunities in railways, And the fact that Railway Ministry is the administrative ministry with Honorable Minister of Railways as the first Chancellor of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya is helping us drive this mission forward. So I will stop at this point and will come back to you for any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Choudhary, for enlightening us with all these facts and all the endeavors which you have taken to bring Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya to pole position. Now, with that, I would once again want to move on to Shri Shobhit Bhatnagar ji, and I would request him to share, because earlier today, Member Infra had shared with us that, several Gati Shakti cargo terminals are being visualized to boost revenue. So, what is being done in this direction, and what benefits does the railways stand to accrue by setting up these Gati Shakti cargo terminals? How many such terminals are being visualized to be set up? How is DFCCIL planning to leverage these terminals? Can you share more insights onto this?
Yeah. Definitely, I mean, the GCT policy, it came out in December 2021 and then revised in 2022. So, so far we have commissioned 2 such terminals, which are primarily container terminals. Both are in, one was at Rewari, the other was at Bhavpur. And now third one, also we have issued the LOA, that is for the new Daud Khan on the Eastern DFC. And I would like to tell you that we are targeting RFP for about 20 such Gati Shakti terminals, I mean, on the railway land or DFC land within this year. So by December, we would be coming out with about 15 more. Out of that, 9 are on Western DFC and 5 on the Eastern DFC. So 14 plus 5 more, which would be in the Gujarat region, I mean, the newly commissioned sections between Makarpura to Gholwad. So that's where we are planning more. So we'll definitely have about 20 more. And we have already, Rewari was commissioned last year. Bhavpur we have commissioned this year. Daud Khan also we are expecting within a few months. So that's how it's going to be. So I mean, we do expect to do about 10% of all the GCT terminals happening on the Indian Railways.
Thanks a lot for that update, sir. And now I would request if Tanveer Khan ji would like to chime in with his perspective from Railway Board regarding the importance of setting up of these Gati Shakti terminals and how the railway stands to accrue benefits from these terminals, and what more what role does he see for the industry to participate in this area and contribute and pitch in this area?
Actually, this question will be better answered by my colleague, Mr. Abhinav Singh, Director-Infra, because he is directly dealing with these projects of DFCCIL.
Sure. So Abhinav ji, would you like to pitch in?
Sir, as far as the board is concerned, we are generally in the policy, sir. So recently in year 2022, we have revised our policy, and which is much more favorable to the private player, so they can enter in the cargo terminal business. Secondly, in 2022, the mandate has been given to us to construct 100 cargo terminals in the next 5 years. So right now we are at 83 numbers, which we have constructed. And hopefully we are going to achieve this target much sooner. And as the demand will come, sir, more number of cargos terminals are going to come, sir.
Thank you for that insight. Earlier today and all throughout the sessions today, 2 recurring features which I have seen and noticed are actually feats that spark the imagination of many young minds. For instance, one of them is the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor, which is certainly going to meet the aspirational needs of our passengers. Apart from that, as a technological prowess firmly establishing our country, our visions of the Chenab railway bridge near Riyasi and the underwater metro below the Hooghly River. All these images have been flashed in most recent conferences. So speaking purely from a technological perspective, Abhinav ji, I would just like to pick your brain regarding your experience regarding the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor, and anything which you feel you would like to share your perspective regarding that, and how it stands to benefit the citizens of our country?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. So Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor, or you can say the bullet train, it is the first train which is going to run at 300 kmph speed in India, sir. So right now in Indian Railways, we are running trains around 160 kilometers, sir. So as far as the technology point is concerned, right now we are having the technology which we can run train at 160 kmph. So, sir, this project is being built with the partnership of the Japanese side, sir. So, as far as the technology is concerned, their technology is different from what we are getting from the Europe, sir, in terms of the signaling or in terms of the construction activity, civil part. So, this project length is around 508 kilometers, sir. And right now, we have achieved 46% of the physical progress, sir, and hopefully we are going to launch our first train, which our minister has told that by 2027, we are going to run that high-speed train, sir. As far as the customer, it will be customer point of view, sir. So as we are going to connect this Gujarat to Mumbai section, it will take around 2.5 hours. And hopefully in near future, we are going to see more number of high-speed rail corridors. So the demand, as the demand comes, I hope ministry will take up new projects also, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And moving on once again to Tanveer ji. Recently, there has been a spate of buzzwords which have been floating around. We've been talking about the use of big data, the use of artificial intelligence, the use of Industry 4.0, the use of IoT, and how to integrate and assimilate all these technologies for the benefit of the railways. So Tanveer ji, I would like to ask you about some of the key technologies which you see as revolutionizing the railway sector in your domain. Could you just briefly touch upon some of these technologies which are being gainfully deployed in the railway sector with some examples from projects which are under your purview?
Yes. As far as these new technologies are concerned, railway is always open for these technologies, and we are using them in our day-to-day working. For example, I will cite an example. Recently, we have, in last year, we have sanctioned one project, Taranga Hill Abu Road in Northwestern Railway. And it was the first project of Indian Railways which was sanctioned based on its feasibility survey on BISAC portal. And which I has already mentioned in previously also in my talk, that in this portal, instead of going to the site, we can have a first at a glance approach that what all utilities will be there and what all hindrance will be there and what all the land use will be there. Even land use is available on that portal, whether it is will be a forest area, whether it will be a wildlife sanctuary, and whether these what will be the electrical crossings and all that, and what so not. Everything is available on that portal, and we can see it and we can plan accordingly. Another thing is LIDAR survey. By that LIDAR survey, what we can do in a week's time, we can get everything, even the elevations, what are the undulations, and the cross sections of that alignment is being developed within a period which we cannot thought of in past days. So these are the technologies which we are using for sanctioning of the project. Now I will come to the monitoring. The projects which are being sanctioned and which are running and which are in which the execution is going on. We are using drone surveys and we are using for monitoring. What we are doing is we are moving every month, and for the critical projects we are moving our drones every fortnight, and we are comparing. By sitting in the office, one can see that what was the position 15 days back and what is the position now. So this is the importance of the technology, that it has make our work easy. And there is one proverb that we have to not work hard, but we have to work intelligent. So this is the thing that by using these technologies, which our private players are sitting here and they are developing it, and as a government organization, we are using them and exploring them and using them to our best. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanveer ji, for throwing light upon how the use of the BISAC portal is revolutionizing the way the projects are visualized and sanctioned on the Indian Railways. This is undeniably one of the landmark projects which has been brought about by this government, and I urge all of you to have a look at this, because it provides us with multi-dimensional maps and detailed features embedded at various levels in those maps. So with that, I would like to segue to Dr. Manoj Choudhary once again and ask him about the technological landscape, how rapidly it is changing, the fact that AI and big data is having sweeping changes, bringing on to the Indian Railways, and how he foresees assimilating all these changes through their seamless adoption, integration of these new technologies in the railway sector. And how do you feel, sir, how can the industry play and contribute to further the progress in this area, and how can they collaborate better with your team at GSV for a win-win proposition, sir?
Yeah, thank you. So as we all know that 21st century is a century of knowledge, and if India were to become big $35 trillion economy, it will be based on creation of new knowledge and assimilation of new knowledge. My fellow co-panelists talked about BISAC PM Gati Shakti tool. Even that tool need to significantly embrace artificial intelligence related technologies in terms of building in it the predictive nature of which area is likely to develop much further, where the economic corridors are to be built, and if such economic corridors are built in location X, whether do we have required skilled people built around that corridor, and what kind of training institutes or skills that we need to create there. Therefore, AI has to apply even to the Gati Shakti tool. Secondly, within railways, whether we look at broken rail detection systems, whether we look at condition monitoring of the tracks, whether we look at warehousing and where we can use IoT track and trace technologies, whether we can use predictive asset maintenance by using artificial intelligence to manage and monitor a vast amount of assets that we have, whether we look at a quality control in our rail wheel factory or any other production units, the predictive and generative nature of the artificial intelligence with the vast amount of data that is available in railways already. The problem is not of data. The problem is now of data reduction. You have so much data. How do we make sense of that data? In order to do that, in our first year of operation itself, in last year in Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, we started a BTech in AI and data science program with specialization in transportation and logistics sector, whose main focus will be on optimized route planning, whose main focus will be on cost adaptation, whose main focus will be on asset maintenance kind of technologies and so on. Tomorrow, if we were to design lightweight wagons for carrying commodities like salt, what kind of new materials do we require? This is another area of technological thing that we have to look at. We alone cannot do everything, and that is also the principle of PM Gati Shakti, that we have to build synergies across us. Some of the technological things that we are doing recently, we entered into a collaborative agreement with Nokia, which is a leader in 5G and 6G world in networking side, to build 5G and AI-related use cases in transportation and logistics sector. And that center of excellence will be set up at our university. Similarly, with Siemens, we are working on the similar thing. Siemens has come forward and announced that in order to encourage more participation of female members in transportation sector, all female students at our university who have an income level below a certain level will be sponsored by Siemens. Similarly, Airbus recently announced what is considered as template across whole of India for entire industry academia partnership is 40 of our BTech students for entire 4 year of program will be sponsored by Airbus. And they are also setting up chair professor positions, simulation laboratories and whatnot. What I am trying to suggest is that when industry sees the value proposition coming out of partnership with academia, then through this collaborative model, we can do much more. Today, we have a partnership with Placer India, which is one of the players in the railway track technology. We have a partnership with Ministry of Port Shipping Waterways, and through them, we are currently working on the port and shipping logistics. We are building partnerships, even among the academics partnership. We alone cannot do. We can have, even now we can have 50 faculty members, but we are not enough. So we have built partnership with IIM Mumbai, nearby IIT Gandhinagar, BITS Pilani, and IIT Jodhpur to form a consortium approach. So as these technologies progress, right, our AI program, for example, is in partnership with leading AI player IBM. We are now trying to build partnership with AMD. We are now so we are in sync with Government of India's AI mission. We are in sync with Government of India's semiconductor mission. Railway today deploys significant amount of semiconductor and electronics components, right? How can we do through Atmanirbhar Bharat and such a kind of semiconductor manufacturing that is proposed in India, many of the low-hanging fruits of Indian railways, can they be built and supplied within India? Can they be manufactured within India so that we have a local design to local manufacturing to local consumption kind of a full circle created? I believe that these are the new technologies that are buzzwords today, but we are already working on them into integrating and assimilating within Indian railways to drive our advancements technology as we go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for bringing us up to speed, and your points which you made are totally appreciated. I totally endorse them, reiterate them, in terms of the fact that, A, we can't be doing all this on ourselves, so we need to partner and collaborate with all the stakeholders, take all of them with us, be it the idea about building a backend of AI behind the BISAC portal, and which areas, through predictive intelligence, it should be able to prompt us as to what are the likely areas which are going to come up, or be it about the fact that today the problem is not about data, but it's about reduction of data. So I totally endorse each one of the points which you made. And with that, I would like to segue back to Shri Shobhit Bhatnagar. Earlier, again, sir, I always begin with the same refrain when I pitch a question to you, that earlier in the day, our MI had talked about 3 main corridors coming up, namely the energy, mineral, and corridor. And apart from that, the rail sagar or the port connectivity corridor and the high traffic density route or the Amrit Chaturbhuj corridor. So basically, I would like to sort of solicit your views or pick your brain about that and maybe prompt you to share something about this with us, along with the fact that, all these buzzwords which are banned, what are the areas, potential synergies which you see in this area? Kindly share with us, sir.
Well, to start with, regarding the new corridors announced, I would say the details are still awaited. So I won't go further into those details. But I would definitely like to highlight what we have been using. We have implemented AI systems. Now that we are calling as MVIS, that is Machine Vision Inspection System. And we have installed it at one location, that is New Daud Khan. And this is in collaboration with Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. So now the results have been very positive. We have been working on it for the last 2 years, but as happens with the AI systems, the system has learned and now is giving very good results. So much so that we have now decided to go for a second location also. This time probably on very close to the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Nagar, from where we are getting most of the wagons, coal-loaded wagons. So that's where, which are the heaviest of the loaded trains. So that's where we are trying to detect. Now, we do have systems called as HABD, the hot axle box detector, but they detect only the hot axle box as such. But MVIS is detecting a lot of other things, the hanging parts, even the components, now they are being mapped into the system, so it can specifically point out which part is loose or has become loose, may hang in future and cause a derailment. So those kind of predictive things are also happening now in this MVIS. So this is in partnership with the startup of IISc, that is the L2M. So we do hope this gets, probably would give us much better results in the near future.
Thanks a lot for sharing that with us. So that is a practical example of, how AI has been helping out in a tangible way in the railways, and how it's been used to detect either hot axle boxes or potential hanging parts or potential possibly, where tree branches are obstructing signals or other areas of machine vision inspection systems. And a big shout out to L2M for having developed this system and sort of got the prototype moving and, developed it into a usable product on the railways. So thank you for sharing that with us, sir. And now I would once again want to move on to Shri Pratyush Kumar. So again, I'll pitch this question to you, sir. Technology buzzwords such as AI, big data, blockchain, Industry 4.0 are increasingly becoming commonplace the world over across various sectors. So how do you see the current state of play in these areas, especially in the rail sector in India? And how do you see the investment climate interest from industry majors to invest in these areas in India towards successful proliferation of these technologies in the railways in India? Would you like to share a few success stories that you've come across wherein you have, given your position at Invest India, where you've seen potential interest in these areas to invest in these areas and potential tangible benefits being realized in the railway sector in this area? Over to you, Pratyush.
Thanks, Rahul. I think this is one area which has the maximum potential for innovation as far as when we talk about innovation. So you must be knowing that Startup India is one of the flagship programs of DPIIT. And a lot of startups are actually working in the areas as Professor Manoj was talking about, that there are many applications, like be it smart yards. We have, like last 3-4 years, we have seen talks about smart yards, smart coaches, and smart stations. Like, under Amrit Bharat scheme, 1,300 stations are to be redeveloped. So all these areas are the potential areas for intervention. But very recently, just last weekend, I think Honorable Minister Vaishnav has traveled to Pune Railways Division. So I just came across a case and I talked to the young entrepreneurs there. I want to quote that because it is a very interesting case. And I want to quote the National Rail Innovation Policy, under which the Indian Railway Innovation Portal. So they are the ones who got selected. And they have developed like a robot, which they call Drishti. The company's name is Combat Robotics. And that Drishti robot is actually, it's like an additional tool to the existing system, that is, how keymans actually currently inspect and how much time it actually takes. So it will be a very good solution to that. Like we are incurring some problems, and this innovation is for providing solutions to such problems. So it has got sensors and AI-enabled data. It picks up data from the, the current defects that are being there. So I think innovations such as this should be promoted more by the government. And suppose some new technology has come up, because as Invest India, we talk to various embassies and we get many queries from various companies across the globe regarding that they are having certain technology. Like recently, we got a query from a Polish company who want to deploy MagRail technology for increasing the speeds. And that it is at 10% cost of any other high-speed rail corridor. So I think this is where we act as the platform to provide them, and we want to take them toward, we want to channelize them to the right division or the right railway body. And this is how we are trying to contribute as far as application of new tech is concerned.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.